with Texas starting their official padded practices, I'm gonna get into maybe some old offensive line discussion coming up a little bit later on, because the offensive line this year is supposed to be one of the best in college football. We don't talk enough about it. And Christian Jones actually said, and we'll get some of that sound. Christian Jones actually said that he thinks that Texas, or at least their goal, is to win the Joe Moore Award, which is for the best offensive line in the country, which I don't think Texas has ever won that award. Texas football for the Joe Moore Award for the best. It's an entire offensive line unit award, not just for one guy.
Yeah, I mean there's Lombardi awards.
Yeah, if it was one guy, Kelvin Banks, he'll be in that conversation one day for the best offensive lineman award. But the Joe Moore Award is an offensive line award given to the best offensive line in the country, and I think Kyle Flood has done it with.
He won at Alabama, I believe.
He won it at Alabama. So that's their goal. He said every day they got a checklist of what it takes to win that award, and they want to win that award this year. If they're in the conversation to win that award, it totally changes the complexion of this offense. Because right now, last year the offensive line was okay, but they underachieved as a run blocking unit, actually. Bijan Robinson and Rojo covered up a lot of the flaws in their run blocking. They were actually a better pass blocking unit. This year, though, you're going to need them to be an elite, effective run blocking unit, because you don't have Bijan and Rojo. And how often, Longhorn fans, just thinking in your head right now, did you see Bijan and Rojo turn what could have been a negative play into a positive play?
Over and over.
Exactly.
Over and over.
Over and over. Like, it was like, it seemed like that is a running reel in Longhorn fans' head about, man, that could have been a tackle for a loss. Or that could have been a 3-yard loss here or there. Nope, Rojo and Bijan found a way to make something out of nothing at times. And that was a huge advantage for Texas offense. And we didn't see it in the bowl game. Think about the bowl game. Those tackles for loss actually were tackles for loss.
Yeah, listen.
And they put you behind the chains a lot.
Yeah. And then the run game against Washington, having been in the building, it was just completely lame. Yep. And Keelan Robinson, I don't think so. An every down running back, behind the line. But at the same time, it's got to be better without those two running backs. But the Joe Moore Award's only been given out since 2015.
Okay.
So Alabama was the first winner in 2015. Last year's Michigan's won it back-to-back years.
Back-to-back.
Bama did win it in 2020 when Kyle Flood was there and Steve Sarkisian was calling plays, and they won the national championship. So it's there. And you just like that the players are talking about it. I mean, they shouldn't be, because it's not an individual goal; it's a team goal, right? They're working together, because we know offensive line plays about five individuals playing as one and playing as a unit. And again, having covered this team for so long, Rod, I've covered your teams. What changed at Texas was Vince Young. Yes, Vince Young changed Texas from a really good team and a double-digit win team when you were there to a national championship team. The offensive line became the strength of the team, or one of the strengths.
You had NFL players.
Yeah, I mean, Casey Studdard showed up, and Lyle Sendline, and Justin Blaylock, and these dudes, because I just think it changes the whole mindset of your team, because it makes you tougher. Practices are tougher, and the opposite is true too. I think when your offensive line is weak, your whole team kind of becomes weaker, because you don't get that. Well,
your D-line is definitely a little bit weaker, because they don't get to compete against an elite O-line.
Yeah.
To make them better.
Yeah, it toughens you up, hardens you, and then, of course, when you can just line up against teams and bully them and just push them around, it changes the game and changes the equation. And you know this, Rod, having played for a long time. It's humiliating when you can't stop a team. When they can just line up and run it right at you.
It is demoralizing. There's nothing worse when a team is just running it down your damn throat. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're trying everything within your power.
Yeah. Think about last year's Baylor game at the end, when Quinn Ewers in the passing game were struggling, and Dave Aranda was throwing those blitzes and defenses at Quinn Ewers, and he was turning the ball over and making mistakes. They just said, all right, stop throwing. Just line it up.
To that old, the late great DKR quote about when you throw the ball, there are 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad.
That Baylor game was.
That's how Sark felt at that time.
I mean, 2 things on that. I mean, for Sark, that was all right. We're not going to. They didn't throw a pass in the fourth quarter, and they just ran it right down their throat with Bijan and Roschon.
But you had that luxury of just leaning on Bijan and Roschon.
I do think, especially Jatavion Sanders and the linemen, they did a great job of opening holes, creating that opportunity to stay ahead of the chains and run the ball. That's something you can build on. Obviously, it didn't show up in the in the next game they played, which is against Washington in the Alamo Bowl. If that is improved and they can run the football, because again, can you run the football when they know you're running the football?
Exactly.
Can they run it? And if this team can do that, they're going to be, with all the weapons, they're going to be really, really a handful.
That is one of the only, I think, question marks about the offense right now is that can they run the football? Can they run it, like you said, can they run it when everybody knows they're going to run it? And if they can, wow.
Well, think about it.
There won't be a weakness with the team if they offensively.
Think about it. Think about Nick Saban week 2, right? His game plan is going to be to stuff the run and then make Quinn Ewers beat him, right? He's going to try to get pressure.
Well, you know what? I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
Because think about what happened in that game, right? Because he took that approach already. Because in the game that happened last season, he decided he's going to play man coverage against Quinn Ewers, and he's going to see if Quinn Ewers, who is one of the highest rated quarterbacks prospects in the history of modern recruiting, if he actually did have the golden arm. He said, I'm going to play man coverage. If he's got the golden arm, then he'll make all the throws. Because Nick Saban believes man coverage is the greatest coverage in the history of football. And he says the problem with man coverage is everybody don't have the dogs to play it. Right? Everybody ain't got dogs across the board to lock up man.
Bunch of 5 stars playing corner.
now exactly. LSU can do it. Ohio State can do it. Texas should be one of those schools that can do it, but not everybody can do that. And they did. And against Quinn Ewers, they played a lot of man-to-man. And what did Quinn Ewers do? He was
shredding
them alive.
Them.
Exactly. Because it was easy to read. It's easy to diagnose man coverage. Everybody knows when it's man coverage, you can go look at a pre-snap read and go, oh, they're in man coverage. Everybody sees that. Everybody knows that. And I think for Quinn Ewers, what was his and he was a young guy, just basically a freshman. But what was one of the issues for him in his development last season was processing, right? Processing the pre-snap and the post-snap and having the ability and the comfort within an offense to be able to make the right decisions and get through a first, a second, and a third progression, which he had trouble doing. Once you got Quinn Ewers past the second progression, you knew you had him because he was going to panic. And with the Alabama game, I think Nick Saban is going to give him more exotic looks this year, and he may not try to stuff the run. He may see if Texas can run and try to stop this passing game because he knows Sark's going to try to put basically haymakers in the script and have knockout blows to try to knock Alabama out of that game early. You know he is.
Yeah.
You know
Get
that,
the crowd
and I know
out of
it.
Get the crowd out of it.
It's in his DNA. He's going to throw some shots in there.
Too.
Yeah, it's his ego, and Nick Saban knows that too. So I think Nick Saban early on is going to stop that passing game and basically rally to the run.
Well, that goes right back to the point.
And then play red zone defense.
If Texas can run that ball against a light box against Alabama, they'll be in good shape because that'll force them to bring extra people if they can get Jonathan Brooks and the run game going, because I think you're right about that.